If you haven't seen part 1, just click the I above, and if you have, welcome to part 2. We've been really pleasantly surprised by the amount of lounge chairs and pool beds, especially the pods that they have. It's not a case of you have to get up early and put your towel down to reserve a pool bed, even though you shouldn't be doing that. People still do it, but you actually don't have to. On this one, they've still got chairs in reserve. They haven't even put them all out. So there's these cool pods down the side, as well as the pods. I call them pods. They're kind of like a round beach bed, and then it's got shade over the top. They're great. You can always get one of those. There's some back on deck 9 Serenity deck. There are some also on deck 9 at the sides. And then there's also some forward as well. So next to the gym and the spa, there's some out there. So there's heaps of places to go and hide and just to go and lounge, whether you want sun or whether you want shade. That's been one of the really cool things. There's not a massive amount of beds by the pool, because the pool area, if you know Splendor, has the retractable roof, and then one deck up it actually has tables for eating. So, you know, if sitting by the main pool is important to you, then obviously you have to get there early. But if you don't have to be sitting by the pool, there's heaps of space out the back in Serenity, and it's really quiet. Now, the mask thing, a contentious issue, but look, this is what it is at the moment. We have to wear masks throughout all the interior areas. It is mandatory unless you are eating or drinking, and that means actually physically in the act of eating or drinking, not, oh, I'm sitting at the buffet, I can just have my mask off the entire time and sit there for an hour. But no one will challenge you unless you actually don't have a mask. So if your mask is half on, no one's really saying anything. As long as it's somewhere in the vicinity of your face, then you're pretty much okay. We're being tested 4 times on this cruise. And yes, we have had positive cases. They are quarantining, but the thing that's been nice is they're getting free internet, they're getting pro rata refund or future cruise credit for the time they spend in isolation. They're being given access to food that you would usually have to pay for, and they're being looked after quite well from what we hear. There's been a really nice sense of community. People have been offering to go ashore and buy them things, and most of the people who tested positive in the first round of testing, we've had lots of testing so far, most of the people have been released from quarantine, so they were actually able to go ashore in a couple of ports. They did tell us that if we followed the rules and wore our masks and did our tests, that they would then assess whether we would be able to remove our masks at some point during the voyage. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, and I said that in my previous video when they sent us the email. You know, there are cases, we've all been out in the community in the ports. I'm pretty sure there'll be more cases. We just need to keep it down to a certain level so that we don't enter Sydney as a red ship.
So I believe the number is, if we're 99 per 1,000, so 99 positive cases per 1,000 guests, we're okay. If it becomes 100 positive cases per 1,000, then we become a red ship. And then what that means for getting into New South Wales, who knows? We'll figure that out and see what happens on the 30th when we get there.
On the outer decks, you don't have to wear masks, although in areas where you're congregating, like there's close contact, then they recommend you do. So some people I've seen have been asked to put their masks on whilst lining up at the deli at the back deck, I guess because people aren't socially distancing in those queues. But I'm really not seeing a lot of people being asked to put masks on. In the casino while you're playing at the tables, and I've seen it in the buffet, but I haven't really seen people challenged anywhere else. A tip for you for the mask, because you see everyone out in the corridor, they walk out, they see your mask, they're like, damn, I forgot my mask. Just hang it on the back of your door. We hang our lanyards on the back of the door, and we also hang our masks on there, so it's the last thing you see. You don't forget to grab it on your way out the door. I don't think it's detracted in any way our enjoyment of the cruise.
Not at all. Oh.
It's just a bit hard sometimes. We always take the stairs, always, and I get a bit puffed and can't breathe through it. But first world problems.
Yeah. Walking from deck 2 where we are up to 11 to get to the gym makes you huff and puff a little bit at the top of the stairs. But oh well, it's what we got to do. Wear our mask. We will.
Now we're actually in an interior cabin on this cruise, and it's been great. We brought along our alarm clock, our sunrise alarm clock, so it will gradually increase the light to mimic the sunrise for us. So rather than being woken from a pitch black room with an alarm, we kind of know that the sun's rising, and that's how we wake up. And that was great for us as well when we were working on the ships, because we're obviously in an interior cabin then. We had one of those lights, so it's a really good investment if you typically travel in an interior cabin. We don't. We just got a really good deal on an interior cabin for this one. But it's fine. We actually spend more time out and about this cruise than what we usually would, because we typically get a balcony or suite. So we're definitely out of our room.
So normally we'd have maybe breakfast on the back balcony, or sit out there and read, or do a bit of work if we had to on that back balcony. But here we can't. So we've actually got to get out and about. So it's been pretty good for us this trip.
So friends have asked us, what do you do on a 23-night cruise? So we'll run you through a typical day. We will wake up to that sunrise alarm. We'll go up and do about 5 kilometers walking up on the walking track. A tip for this ship, though, it has a walking deck right up the top.
Deck 12.
Deck 12. And though it's only about 150 meters, I GPSed it and it was about 140 something, which isn't very far. So you have to do so many laps. But if you go one deck down, you can actually go around that and then around where the retractable roof is, and that's 250 meters.
And that deck's also great because you get a bit of shade, a bit of shelter, whereas up on the very top deck there's no shelter, so you're in the full sun the whole time. So we prefer the deck 11 being longer and also a bit more protection.
And one thing that I couldn't find one thing I couldn't remember about the Splendor was whether you could walk around on deck 3, whether you could do a full lap. You actually can't. It's blocked off at each end. So I would definitely recommend going up and doing that 250 meter loop to get your steps in. And then it means that we've done some movement for the day. So if we do want to just lie down and read, then there's no guilt around that. We've actually moved our bodies.
Yep.
And then what we'll do, we'll come back, have a shower, have some breakfast, either get off in port or go and read. I mean, it really depends on what's on the activity schedule.
So we might go and watch a band play. We might do a bit of trivia, and you might have seen that we won the ship on a stick, won the bottle of champagne with one of the trivia contests.
For the rock trivia.
The rock trivia, that's it. There's plenty of shows on the ship as well that we check out. We've been watching a lot of the tennis when that was on. The US Open has been on.
Yeah, they had that in the sports bar, which was really cool. There was the same people there every day watching the finals. And if you go to the sports bar, they actually have a schedule of what is playing. So if there's a particular thing that you want to see or a team that you follow, just go and ask them behind the bar, and they actually have a schedule. So we took a photo of that so that we knew what time to head down and watch the games.
We've also got the English Premier League soccer playing as well. So there's plenty of sport happening.
Rugby.
Yep.
Yeah,
lots
rugby
on.
sevens. And then we'll go to the casino for a bit. There's lots of stuff to do. Australians, for the coffee, I know that's a really important question. They are using Lavazza. Your almond milk, though, you won't get Milk Lab. So just be aware of that. You just got to understand that it's not as big a coffee culture on board cruise ships, well, on board this brand of cruise ships, than it is back in Australia or on some of the other cruise lines. Some of the other activities they have had, because we're going to Hawaii, they've had hula classes, they have had lei making, they've had other dance classes, ballroom dance classes. So there's loads of stuff. We just go along and see how we feel. And it's good because we haven't felt like there's been a sense of urgency to go and do everything, because we can see the entire schedule for the cruise. We know that we can do that next week, or we can do that the week after. We don't have to just constantly be on the go. And
we're not even halfway yet, so there's still
yeah,
plenty of time to go and check out all the other activities that are there.
yeah, so it just really depends on where the day takes us and where the nights take us. The dinners, though, it's been really cool to use the app, especially with anytime dining. You just, when you're ready to eat, or when you are perhaps finishing off a pre-dinner drink, you just check in on the app, and then it will notify you of when your table is ready. It'll tell you the table number, and you just head down, show your table number, and they'll take you there for dinner. So that's been working really well. It didn't work on day one, and of course, day one, things go wrong on day one while people are getting used to things. But after that, it's been really seamless as far as checking in for dinners. And then, yeah, after a show, we'll go to bed and do it all over again.
Day, yeah.
And if we don't want to do anything, then that's fine.
We won't. So that's our trip so far. We'll look at uploading another video later in the cruise, hopefully Fiji, to let you know what's happening again then.
Yeah, they have warned us that the internet won't be available after tomorrow, or it'll be quite patchy. So anyone who had the premium internet package, they're actually cancelling that package and pro rata refunding and making you purchase the lower package that isn't as fast.
Day by day.
It has been a bit sketchy the entire time, but once it's sailing out of Australia, I imagine it's going to be a lot better. So we're just pretty much going to lose internet from tomorrow for a few days till we get to Fiji. But my phone plan works. I have data in Fiji, so we'll be able to upload again then. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and we will be happy to try and find some answers for you. If this video has been helpful, please like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified of more of our travels. And we hope that this has been helpful to you. Happy cruising!